Hi, this is Karen Gaines, your nonprofit finance guide, and today I am going to talk about why it is important for your nonprofit to be profitable. So there is this expectation that nonprofits are not supposed to be profitable, that they're not supposed to make money or even have a bottom line, that whoever is working for the nonprofit, they should make little to no money. They think everyone who is involved in the nonprofit should be working with the nonprofit only because of the mission, and that money should not be expected. But, we all know that is not reality. If you have worked in a nonprofit, you know that's not reality. You have to make money when you are in or running a nonprofit organization. The fact is that nonprofits are businesses. They are organizations just like a for-profit business. However, the main difference between a nonprofit and a for-profit is that nonprofits are not driven by profits first. They are driven by missions first and then profits, okay? It doesn't have to be one or the other, it can be both. Again, nonprofits are driven by mission first and then profits, okay? So you have to have money in order to, pay your staff, pay the rent, pay administrative expenses, program supplies, all of that. You need money for all of that so your nonprofit can run and operate. And you may be an executive director watching this, and you may feel bad about wanting to make money for your nonprofit. You may feel bad about wanting to show a profit or a large profit on your statement of activities / profit and loss statement, but the fact is, you really need to focus on being profitable. And I'm going to add this as well. Sometimes just the name, the verbiage, nonprofit organization, is a little cringe because it's already putting the expectation out there that, the organization is not supposed to be profitable because non-profit organization. All right. But that, again, that's not true. Just because the verbiage assigned to it is nonprofit organization, that does not mean you can't be profitable. All right. So let's get to it. I'm going to talk about a few reasons why your nonprofit needs to be profitable. Number one, the alternative to being profitable is losing money. All right. So it's very, very difficult to have like a break even each and every month, each and every year. So if you are not being profitable, well, the alternative is you are losing money. And if you're losing money month over month, year over year, pretty soon you're not going to have a nonprofit. You're not going to have an organization. You're not going to be able to help the people in your community. All right? So reason two why you need to be profitable is because you need cash reserves. You need cash reserves for those rainy days. So let's just think about COVID-19 for a second. That was quite traumatizing for most of us, probably all of us, okay? And with COVID-19, if you are an executive director or business owner, you've felt it pretty immediately because you needed excess cash in order to continue to pay your operating expenses, to continue to pay your staff and your rent, and just to keep your nonprofit going in order to weather through that storm. All right. So, COVID-19 is a prime example of why you need cash reserves. You need it, because of, potential pandemic. You need it just in case an emergency comes along. Maybe your nonprofit is hit with an unexpected expense and you need to pay it immediately. Well, you can pull out of your cash reserves to take care of that emergency. Maybe you have a sudden loss of funding. Maybe one of your funders or one of your large donors just decide, hey, I'm not going to provide funding for your organization. Well, you need that extra cash reserves in order to, get you to, get you through the storm until you find more donors or find more individuals who believe in your cause and make donations. All right. So that was reason number reason number two of being profitable in your nonprofit organization. Reason number three is you need profits in order to make sure you can pay for operational expenses. And I talked about this a little bit at the start of the video. You need that profit in order to pay for your administrative expenses, your rent. You need to pay for your insurance. You're going to have situations in which you're going to have to replace things in your organization, like furniture or computers or laptops or printers. You're going to have things that break down in your nonprofit, in your building. And so you're going to want to have money to make repairs, to make updates to your building. You may have a situation where, insects or rodents get into your building. You need to have funding in order to take care of all of that stuff. Because if you don't have the money to do that, your facility is going to, start looking bad. Your operations are going to start breaking down. So, that cash is needed for those operational expenses. Number 4, you want to have money in order to attract top talent. Okay? If you're watching this and you're executive director or CEO and you've had to hire staff and you've had a restricted budget, you know that you're not going to get the top talent. Or if you happen to get the top talent, they, soon leave because someone else brings along a better offer. So you want to have that money in place so you can attract, obtain, keep talented employees that, will help enhance your nonprofit, will take your nonprofit to that next level, and just provide stability within your nonprofit. And the reality is, by and large, that type of stuff, it requires money. It requires money to do so. If you have a limited budget or don't have the cash to do that, you're left with the leftovers. You're left with a slack employee. You're left with an employee that, they're not going to follow through. They're not, they're going to have a bad attitude. Again, by and large, sometimes you do get those good employees that stay a very long time and which you don't have to pay a whole lot of money for. But generally speaking, I'm talking about generally speaking, you have to pay for that top talent, right? Reason number 5 as to why you want to be profitable in your nonprofit is because you want to make sure you're expanding your nonprofit. Okay? Again, if you don't have money, if you don't have, those donations coming in, you're not going to be able to expand. You're not going to be able to invest back into your nonprofit. All right? You're going to just kind of remain stagnant where you are. You're not going to be able to help the people you want to help, serve the way in which you want to serve. So, you want that extra funding so you can grow your nonprofit, and that means, getting a larger building, hiring more staff, investing in software that's needed to take care of the volume you have coming in. All right. Reason number 6 is that being profitable shows that you are financially stable. And having a bottom line, it signals that you've been being responsible for resources. You've been being responsible for going out there, obtaining funding, obtaining donations, and finding people who are interested in your cause and obtaining donations from them. It's just, it signals that, hey, we're not broke. We have some money in the bank. We've been good stewards of our funds. And it signals that, hey, we are ready for more money. All right. Number 7. And this kind of piggybacks off of number 6, is that, having a healthy bottom line, it shows donors and funders that, again, your organization is financially stable. They will look at your financial statements and they'll say that, oh, okay, they've been responsible. Oh, okay, they've been able to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z with the funding they have, and I know if I provide more funding that they'll be able to do more. Now, here's a question. Will you come across those donors or potential donors or funders that look at your financial statement and say, hey, they're making too much money, I'm not going to fund them? Yeah, you probably will. You probably will. But the smart donors, the smart funders will look at that and say, they've been being responsible for this money. They understand that organizations need to be profitable in order to take care of the items that, we've talked about so far in this video. Okay, so, those are 7 reasons why you need to be profitable in your nonprofit organization. All right. And, I do believe it's important to educate people, educate the public as to why nonprofits need to be profitable, because there's this perception out there that nonprofits aren't supposed to be making money. Nonprofits are supposed to be break even or close to break even each and every month. But if you operate in that manner, in the manner of just always breaking even, at some point a surprise expense is going to come up. It's going to throw you off. Okay. Or if you're a nonprofit, or if you're operating a nonprofit and you're consistently every month, every year showing a loss, again, it's only a matter of time before your nonprofit will become non-existent. And again, I think it's important to communicate this to the public, to potential donors, potential funders, so that they know that, hey, we need funding in order to continue our mission so that we can help the community and help those in need. So I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Thank you for watching and have a great day.